Yo, what is up, guys? Here we are, back at it again with another deck profile, back-to-back deck profiles. Look at us. I had to make sure that this came out the next morning. Very excited to show off this degenerate list, the things I do for wins. Oh man, it's amazing. But yeah, so we're getting into it, guys. Post Suda, the rumbling Atlantean or storming Atlantean, whatever it is. And, Trite came out, Abyss Team came out, yikes on that card. But, new cards came out, and the deck is doing some pretty crazy things right now. So, some very exciting innovations I felt like I was able to make for the deck. And I don't know if the deck will stay this way going forward. There are issues. There are potential problems with it, but all decks have that. And I think, I don't know. But at the same time, though, already looking over my matches, guys, I went undefeated here. I went undefeated, 5 rounds. Round 1, I played against, oh, come on, man. I played against Fiendsmith Kastira, and then I played against Fiendsmith Ryziel, and then I played against Kristrons, and then I played against an undefeated Marincess deck, and then I played against Pure Ryziel in the final round. So I have 5 full-length feature matches. Very excited to show these off. There's a lot to take from them. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a really nice week for Water, a really nice week for the channel. And I also have some DB videos available too, some funny stuff that I'll probably post, but those will be like extra stuff. I'm not exactly sure when it'll come out. I'll try and get the feature matches out at least one a day. And if I'm lucky, I can even get one out before I go to work this morning. But we'll see. So, yeah, we can just kind of like dive into it. So, just one last thing with this deck is this is a 40 card list. So not only is this deck just has the funniest win condition, but this is a 40 card list, and we are not playing some key cards in this deck. And I guess we'll just get into it when we get there. But yeah, so let's hop into the profile, starting with the Atlanteans. I guess I'll go one at a time. We played three prints. This is one of your 2 best cards in the deck. This is the best card in your deck going first, but there is a best card in your deck going second, and I'm sure you guys can assume what that is. And that card is incredible. But yeah, Prince is amazing, and Prince has become, excuse me, Prince has become even more incredible because now Prince not only is it a starter, it's extender, it's also an interruption. By being able to summon the Storming Atlantean from your graveyard. And so this card, and it also searches the Storming Atlantean. So this card becomes even more powerful, which is really scary because, man, I would hate to see that card get limited or semi. Next, we just play 1 infantry. I did want to play multiple copies, but with this list, we are minimizing the bricks to the absolute smallest amount possible. And so with that, you definitely cannot be playing any more than 1 copies of the infantry. And I've even debated cutting the infantry as well, maybe whether from the main deck to the side or just entirely. This card is definitely, it's up for debate whether this card needs to stay or not. Next, we played 3 Shrine. Shrine is also, this is also one of the best cards in the deck. All the Atlantean card, I mean, honestly, every card in this deck is very, very strong. Okay, Prince, strongest card in the deck. Shrine, strongest card in the deck. Infantry, it's a brick, and then 3 copies of Dragoon, strongest card in the deck. All these cards are incredibly abusable for what they do. Infinite searches. You Dragoon search so often. It is incredible. So obviously we're playing triple Dragoons. Dragoons is a starter in this deck. All these cards are starters. These are starters. These are starters. And while yes, Dragoons is not a starter by itself, I play. Let me think. To be able to trigger Dragoons in my hand, you need to open another water, and the other waters I have in my deck that can open with the Dragoons. I think it is about 23 copies of a card or 21, something like that. It's almost impossible to open Dragoons or a squad and not open a way to discard it as well. But yeah, and so next, I guess the big question everyone's always going on about: do you play 1 to 3 or do you play 2 Storming Atlanteans? This was the MVP of the day and more. You do not play one of this. for sure. This is at mandatory a 2 of. In my opinion, mandatory a 3 of. This card was incredible. Maybe it's because it's the opening weekend and people don't know how to play around it as well. But I mean, this card is insane. I was summoning multiple on the same turn because you can summon one from Shrine, one by itself. You can resummon it from Prince. The way this card works is it works like Taste and Megalo, where you send from field or hand any water, which is also just awesome that it does that. Any water to summon it. You reveal in hand, and then if it resolves, it summons to the field, and then sends a water from deck to grave as cost, or Mermail Atlantean from deck to grave as cost. Target card opponent controls, put it back in the hand. So this is an amazing way to out detonators. It's an amazing way to just out random board problem cards that want to float, cards that need to be on field. This card's I don't even know. I feel like I can't even fully provide context for how strong this card is. This card is also this card is a pure interruption as well, follow-up interruption with Prince. So this is why we don't need to be searching infantry anymore, because if you're playing and you're playing through interruptions, you don't have a lot to end on. If you can at least get your Poseidra summoned on the field or destroyed or sent to the graveyard, and then have maybe you opened multiple princes, or you have a Dragoon search but you're not going any further, you just add the prince. As long as you have Shrine and Poseidra in your grave and Prince in your hand, which did come up a few times for me, then you're always just able to Shrine, discard Prince, draw a card, summon Poseidra. Poseidra send infantry if you need the double pop, or you send Dragoons if you need the follow-up search, or you send squad if you're trying to summon a body, whether to stay alive, or maybe they can't clear it and you just want to have the prince straight on board for the start of your next turn. This card was insane. Not only was it insane, those applications, but what this card does to the consistency of the deck is it replaces Megalo, Gund, Triana. We have to recognize that this card, yes, it might be a worse Teus, but I would almost, I don't know. I don't think it's a worse Teus. I think it's just another starter, extender, and better than Teus because it's also a board breaker. Yes, Teus is a strong going first card for sure, and Teus is a strong going second card. Well, this is a strong going first card, and it's a lot stronger at going second. Going second, this card's insane. And going first, you're opening multiple water hands. I play 12 non-engine. I played 12 non-engine, so I had multiple, 2 to 4 card water hands. And when you have stuff like that, especially if you open by Poseidra plus Prince, if you open Poseidra plus Squad, if you open it plus Dragoons, it's just a starter. It's just another way to get going. But typically you're opening this plus other water cards, and so it's a combination of cards, and then you pick the best line that's available to you. But it's amazing. It's better to have this than have nothing. And yeah, so I definitely think 2 of mandatory, 3 is debatable. But yeah, Poseidra was MVP of the day. That was the best card in my deck, 100%. Next, we played into Mermails. We played 3 Teus. This is probably the if you have this plus Dragoons or Squad, this is probably your best opening play possible. You get the most searches before you get drolled, and I think this one probably baits the most interruptions. So if you have a Teus plus Squad or Dragoons plus a Prince in hand, I mean, you're going. So Teus was amazing. 3 Pikes. We played 3 Pikes because we're still playing Colacan, and it's still, and we're just maximizing on consistency here. And yes, because I'm playing 40 cards, there were times where I did open multiple normal summons. It's not that bad, but it does happen. There was a game where I think I actually, I think I was Charmied, so I was drawing a lot. I might have Charmied into 3 Pikes, which is kind of wild. I didn't lose that game, if I even did draw 3 Pikes, but yeah, that did happen. So, yeah, a triple Pike, no issues here. I mean, this is. If you don't get to Colacan, then you just have multiple ways to keep playing and searching on multiple turns. You have a better resource game. But if you do resolve Colacan, you're probably winning anyways because you just summon 2 to 3 bodies that you're now able to play with rank 4 and go full combo with. Next, I played 3 Squad. 3 Squad is amazing, and it's even better now because 3 Squad is now a 1-card combo or not a 1-card combo, but it now combos with Dragoons, where before, if you opened squad plus Dragoons, you would normal squad effect, discard Dragoons, and then there's nothing you can search. There's really just nothing. There's nothing you search to actually start playing if these are the only 2 waters in your hand. But now you can go squad, discard Dragoons, and then Dragoons can grab you Poseidra, and then you can send squad, summon Poseidra, and then squad can summon your prince from the deck. And now you are playing where before you had absolutely nothing. So now squad is another card that you can consider as a starter with a combination of Dragoons or squad. So like opening 2 squad combo, opening squad plus Dragoon is also combo. So very cool, very cool indeed. So that is it for our Mermail Atlanteans. Next, I play 3 Minstrel. Now, the reason we are playing 3 Minstrel here is because Minstrel turns on our deck's current win condition for the event. I guess a little spoiler here: we cut Moonling Glacia, no Moonling Glacia, and no General Ryo, like the Ice Barrier cards. That was not how I wanted to play. I have been slowly trying to find justifications to cut Moonling Glacia from my deck. Moonling is a super strong card. It's super degenerate. Double discard is awesome, and it's super free to summon, and it's really easy to get out. And I'm still considering playing it. But a couple things. One, having the deck at around 40 cards made the deck feel super consistent. I had amazing hands. I had my opponents breaking all day. I was not breaking all day. I was opening God hands. And sure, it's variance. Sure, I might have been lucky, but I also built the deck in a way to where I planned on not breaking. And I ran through the test hands. I ran the numbers. My numbers are good. My test hands were solid. And so the reason we are maxing out on Minstrel is because a couple reasons. First, Minstrel turns on the deck's win condition. Second of all, this is just another 3 available discard outlets to start playing the game. All I wanted was consistency. I wanted as many ways to discard my squad and Dragoons or have follow-up discards with cards like Prince or Pike as possible. And so if my water card wasn't doing anything, just to get me going, to start playing, then I was not considering it as a viable option unless it had a legitimate win condition variance involved. The only outlier for this is wherever it was the infantry. All these engine cards, they all do something. They all discard, they all send, they all add. All these cards do something. Infantry was the only one that doesn't, and that's why I was considering maybe moving it to the side deck or cutting it, because I need to look back at my matches, but I don't even think the infantry was actually that impactful. I don't even know if the infantry I don't think won me any games, and I think I think all the times I did pop a card, I didn't need to anyways. But it's hard to say. Not enough matches ran through yet. I still have to play with that and find out how I feel about that. I guess I also was playing 1-for-1 here as further consistency. It's another card that I considered as. I consider 1-for-1 in the same line of all these cards where it's. You have this in any monster, and now you have full combo. You have a combination of these and any waters. You have full combo. So I figured 1-for-1 did add to that calculation, and it added to that theory. My only issue with 1-for-1 was I was opening every time I opened 1-for-1, I opened 1-for-1 Prince or 1-for-1 double Prince, and I was actually considering cutting 1-for-1. There was a card I was not able to obtain for this list. I was not able to get it last second due to my own fault. And if I would have picked it up, I either would have played 41 or I would have cut the 1-for-1 for this. You could also maybe cut 1-for-1, maybe cut infantry. 1-for-1, cutting 1-for-1 is crazy. 1-for-1. There was one time during the day where I only had 1-for-1 as my starter. So maybe you just have to play because it's just Prince. And I think another issue I have with 1-for-1 was I was playing with it incorrectly. There were times where I opened 1-for-1 plus Prince, and I didn't want to waste resources, so I would normal Prince first or squad Prince. And I think I guys need to play more around 1-for-1 as a bait. This deck I think is consistent enough to where 1-for-1 maybe isn't needed, but I think the just in case scenarios. I think 3, 2, 1. I think the just in case scenarios makes 1-for-1 a viable option, just to add that further consistency and guarantee prints, as well as I think if this deck is consistent enough to where you're most likely going to be able to play through after a 1-for-1. So if you go first action 1-for-1, this card almost always gets ashed. This is like the new diva for the deck, except it's a lot more free. But yeah, and also fun fact, this is the only spell card in the deck. Yep, only spell card in the deck. So that was another cool thing. This deck plays around a lot of other cards. It plays around Bestials. It played around. I played against Crystron, and they make this like synchro race card that has it's a spell and trap Omni Negate. Plays around that too because there's no spell and traps in the deck. Next, I play Colacan. This is my only big body. This is my only level 7 searcher. I did not play Ice Shade Ran, not because Ice Shade Ran is bad, but just because it did not completely flow with the rest of the deck. Just the fact that it doesn't. So what Ran doesn't do is it doesn't get me to my win condition, and it doesn't search any of my other water pieces. So I don't think Ran's bad at all. I think it's and it's not a win more either. I think it's just a tech. I think it's something you could definitely consider playing in this list. It's not bad at all. You could definitely cut one of the Minstrels for it. I also wouldn't hate cutting one of the, maybe cut the 1 infantry for it, cut the 1-for-1 for it. That's actually not bad. Maybe cut 1-for-1 for Ran. That actually might be better. But yeah, there's definitely things you can do. I did decide to still play Colacan, even though this card is a brick. The fact that you can summon it back off Trite makes it a lot more viable, as well as this card does, this is the easiest line to get to my win condition for the deck, and then it's just such an oppressive card going first or second. There were definitely times where I played through as many interactions as possible, and then last action, Shrine, summon Deep Sea King, summon 2 to 3 pikes, and it's just like you're back in the game now. Like you're back in the game, and this is how we compete with these crazy decks nowadays. All right, and for my last engine card, we have we have the Water Statue. This is my win condition for the deck, guys. Yeah, it's pretty degenerate. Sure. Hey, listen, I get it. It's not great. But whenever I played this card, I won. Shocker. The board you can build around this is insane, and and I was looking at like the attack and defense stats, or I guess just attack stats. I was looking at what decks are playing right now, what kind of non-engine decks are playing right now, and yeah, most decks cannot out this card, and even if they can out it, I should have too much to stop them from outing it. And at the worst case, even if they can't out this, they lose their battle phase, and that can be the difference between winning or losing a game. There was a game where I played against Ritual Beasts. They shifted me. I opened this for turn, game 3. I normal summon this, and I just make them swing into it first. They kill it, and then I have a couple non-engine. I stop them from building a board, and then I just I have my whole hand of three non-engine that I'm able to just dive into them with. But yeah, so Water Statue. So why did I choose this over Moulin or with Moulin or General? What makes the Barrier Statue so good? So there's a couple things here. One, this card is searchable, so that is cool. It is searchable through the Minstrel line. So we can plop this on our end board at the end board at the very end. And also this card is, you're not committed to searching this card, to finding this card. Like Moulin, you have to use one of your Dragoon searches to eventually get the Moulin in hand, and then you have to set up the 5 waters, and if it gets disrupted, then you lose the access to Moulin, and so you never had that win condition anyways. If you open Moulin, there's nothing you can do with it if the water count is not adding up. It's an unplayable card, and eventually you just discard it, and so that all feels kind of bad. But with Barrier, you do not have to commit to this card until the very end of your combo, until you've secured your line, and then before that, you're just playing a standard waterless, just plopping rank 4s, rank 7s, building up your disruptions through Prince discards or infantry discards on top of the non-engine you might have. So some other benefits of this card was this is level 4 water, so that's important. It is a 1000 attack, so it is summonable off of an enemy as well as trite. So if this is actually one of the best cards to open, you actually love opening this card. Very different from Mulan. Like we say, we like sometimes you say you like opening Mulan, but you don't really like opening Mulan unless it's like in a very niche circumstance. You actually just want to open this card because if you can just discard this card to play at all, at worst, it's a normal summon, which is just fine. But then if you have like any way of like starting playing, like, you know, Teus statue, hey, I'm discarding statue to summon Teus all day, and then all of a sudden your full combo is just sitting in your graveyard, and so all you need is an enemy or a trite to get it back in the field, and then you're golden, and then you just have like your whole protection. So it's just super free. It's also technically not the worst card going second. Because a lot of decks are currently, you know, having multi-layered interactions, and so, you know, imagine you like normal this into like a Fiendsmith board, and they can't summon Lacrima, or they can't summon a Bestial, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know the full implications of like what that looks like yet, but, you know, technically, yeah, like theoretically, like your opponent can't Eclipse and summon back Detonator. Your opponent can't use the Malice Traps or like summon Malice cards or something. I don't know. I haven't fully really dived into it. And so, yeah, I don't know exactly how strong this card might be going second. It's not actually good going second. I'm just saying there are applications for going second, where with Mulan, again, it's even harder going second because as you're playing through a board, you're not going to be able to guarantee your water count, and so it's a very gambly ad. But yeah, so Barrier Statue, very strong card. And I guess I'll show you an idea of what the combo would look like to get there. There are no one card combos. Sorry guys, I do not care about one card combos. I do not build my deck for one card combos. There are multiple lines to get to statue. It's not the easiest line, for sure. Like, I think getting to Mulan is easier than getting to statue. But I think the payoff for statue is equal or greater than Mulan, but I also think that the consistency bonus, the viability in opening this card, I'm still debating which one I like more. I also didn't want to play both because I felt like Mulan and statue do the same thing. And you're just playing more bricks at that point, so I don't like that either. But yeah, I don't think you need to play both. Unless you can fit it in and you're not breaking it, then I mean, I'm not complaining. But yeah, so that was the engine. Is 28 engine cards here, and then we get to our 12 non-engine. I played 3 Perulia, I played 3 Ash, I played double Droll, 1 Nib, and 3 Imperm. So we'll go over this a little bit. All these non-engines were technically picked for a specific reason. So first, Perulias, we'll get into that. Perulia is an amazing card in this deck. Even if the deck only gives you 1 draw, it's still an upstart at the very least. It's consistency, as well as this is a card that you can discard to activate your effect. So this is what a real fodder water looks like. Like, this is one of the only cards. Like, I would say this and statue and I guess like these cards are like real fodder waters. Infantry is a less real fodder water. Getting this engraved does not feel good. Getting any of these engraved feels actually really good. It feels like setup, because all these cards do something in the graveyard. You know, we have rank 4 access. You know, we have win condition, and then we have win condition. So, you know, these are not bad fodder waters, and I like that we've really minimized how many fodder waters I have in the deck. But yeah, Perulia was amazing. It's amazing against most decks in the meta right now. It's also pretty good against Mitsurgi. And yeah, so Perulia was amazing. It's a water. It lets you draw. It lowers your opponent's ceiling. No issues with that card. I decided to play Ash Blossom again, strictly for the fact that I want to be able to deal with Charmies. One of the issues with cutting Mulan and playing the statue and not opening the statue is that it's a little harder to play into the Charmies because before with Mulan, if you get Fluorost, you could kind of just like, you know, end on like a Ran plus Mulan, discard their hand for 2. You give them 1 to 2 draws. You know, maybe you gave them like like a prince summon off of a squad, and you gave them like the Chenning or Gamir summoned off the Ran. Then you have Mulan, you discard 2, and you're just kind of hoping you live. So I wanted to have a different way of playing around the Charmies. I wanted to play around the Charmies by having, so originally this actually was a triple droll, and it was no nib, but I put the nib in last second as a on a whim. I ended up not liking it. Nib was not great, and every time I put it in, every time I regret it. So yeah, Nib was not great. But yeah, so the main reason I played Ash was because I wanted, obviously it's a generically strong hand trap. Whenever you have it, you're always hitting something impactful. That's great. But mainly I wanted it for the fact that this card can negate the Charmy draws. But I did also look at most of these cards. All these hand traps, honestly, except for Nib, did play a role in the deck, where I also look at Ash as a viable board breaker. You know, going second, these are probably the worst hand traps, but going second, this is a fodder water. Going second, this will stop cards like Lacrima. It'll stop Malice cards. Going second, this will negate Detonators, negate Dwellers, negate Caesars. So very impactful cards. Imperm is amazing. Imperm was amazing in this deck. Also the night before, I went to another locals where I played a couple rogue decks, including that Ritual Beast deck. I did not have these here. These were actually triple Impulse. I think I was afraid of playing Impulse into Ryziel again. I think that was incorrect, though. I think overall, I never got a chance to. Okay, so I guess real quick before I get to the Impulse. So yeah, I played double Droll. My main reasoning for playing Droll was the fact that, so one, I know Misurugi was a thing, and just in case I saw it for the first time in the room, I wanted to see how Droll was against that deck. I also thought that if I'm not opening a Charmy, then Droll kind of does the same thing, because the idea is you Charmy, and they go, and your opponent will go, you know, normal ice, special from deck. So you get one draw, and then they'll make duo, add cross and node, summon node, and then make detonators. You get a draw off the node, you get a draw off the ice, so you get 2 draws, and they end on a cross detonator. If that is how that, like, so like the idea is that they get a couple draws, but it limits their amount of play. And then Droll was the same thing, where if they go normal ice, special, whatever Ryziel add to hand, you draw them, they can no longer go into duo, they can no longer get cross, and then they cuts them off from their cross draw as well, cuts them off from desires, and then you put them on. You better have enough bodies to either make, because you definitely cannot just make Dweller against this deck. Just Dweller is not viable. But this definitely helps cut them off from making Detonator Dweller, which is a problem. So that was another reason I wanted to play this card, and I figured, okay, if I this also just adds consistency in terms of like turn ending hand traps, where you kind of want to just open one of these 5. Although multiple times a day I was opening like one Prulio, one Droll, and that felt really bad. There were some times where I was like drawing, just like waiting to drop the Droll, but there was never a viable time. And if I did drop the Droll, it was like too late. I given him too many cards. So he would have been able to play through it at that point. I also chose the main Droll over Fluros, because I thought that Droll would be a better card going first. If I like combo, open the Droll, and then I can discard it to stop my opponent from breaking my board. That also seemed like very viable, especially in the sense where if I'm like not able to get the like statue, like let's say I get cut off from like my statue line, and so I have like maybe not a half board, but like a Toad Gaios pop negate, like pop interruption, nothing, just like a Speedsmith board almost. A couple negates and an interaction, then the Droll would help with those cases as well. And then finally, Droll could help Charmy, where you can definitely Droll yourself when your opponent Charmies you, and you can definitely get the full combo. You just need to get to a couple pieces in rotation, and you're fine. So yeah, and then I played the one nib because I felt like I needed something to draw into that was actually impactful, that if some opponent was just going to decide to put me on better habit, that I wanted to in fact have it. And that never came up. I saw Nib one time, and they had the cross field spell for it, so it didn't matter. So really, I mean, I guess it should have just been triple Prulia, triple Droll. Although I think looking forward, Droll is either going to get, put to 2, put to 1 maybe in the main, or just entirely move to the side. And I'm going to be looking at like impulses, I think, to enter the main deck, that or Fluros. One of the two. Impulse, I did actually miss it, and being able to hit the Eclipse is pretty amazing because Poseidra is an out to detonator, and then the impulse, an impulse would be an out to the Eclipse. So yeah, rambling there. That is the main deck, 40 cards. I loved it. This list was amazing, super consistent, very powerful. Shockingly enough, without the Triana, the grind game was not bad. You guys would really be shocked at how much Poseidra does for this deck. Poseidra keeps you in the game quite a bit. So yeah, that was the main deck. We'll get into the extra here. I'll try and go a little faster, guys. We played for the links, played 1 Zealantis, 1 King, 1 Lacia, 1 Coral. No changes here. These are the only like link waters you need. There are others you can play. You can play multiple. If you don't need multiple, this was just fine. And every one of them came up. I played 1 Poseidra, 1 Gaios, 1 Trite for the 7s. You do not need Gaios, but Gaios definitely comes up. These cards are crazy. I got this unicorn a couple times today. I would have would have liked maybe having 2 of those. That would have been crazy, especially because we have 2 rank 7s that go into that, so that would have made that even more viable. But yeah, all 3 of these cards came up. Obviously, Trite is the MVP. Trite was insane. Monster Reborn. A Monster Reborn into Poseidra really feels just unfair. Those are when I would be able to do that. That was a crazy interaction. Cards like these two as well, and like Poseidra, all these cards help play through Dweller as well. The deck actually, it's not great, but it is a little bit better, and that's like all you need is a little bit better. So your technical play in your deck building can you can take advantage of the fact that it's just a little bit better playing through Droll, just a little bit better playing through Dweller, and now we just need to find a way to play through Shifter just a little better. Because one thing I would like to say with the main deck, I did accept that my Game 1 Malice matchup and Game 1 Shifter matchups would not be strong. And I did debate, and that's another reason why I'm debating Impulses in the main or Fluros in the main over Drolls. Because of the fact that I accepted that my matchup for Mouse would be weak. My Game 1 would be weak and I chose to make my matchups versus decks like Ryziel and versus I guess other Fiendsmith decks, whatever, Mitsurgi. I wanted those matchups to be stronger because here's the thing, against Ritual Beast, against Malice, like we're already at a disadvantage because if they shifted us, we're already probably going to just lose that Game 1. If we lost the roll and they shifted us, it's a really uphill battle from there. If we lost the roll and they just start comboing, it's really hard to stop Malice from playing. Like, you almost need like a completely different non-engine lineup to hit them. And so it's tough. I'm also very weak at it. I have not practiced against Malice very much, so I'm not comfortable interacting with that deck. So I just chose to accept the fact that I'll lose that game to win others, and that definitely paid off because I played against 0 Malice. And if I would have, I put it on games 2 and 3, and I deck build for that purpose as well. And I think you can do that. I think you can get away with it, and I was successful with that today or yesterday. Next, rank 4s. 1 Kraken, 1 Dweller, and I guess real quick, double Bahamut, double Toad, Shocker. We're playing these. These are like, I feel like there's just not better cards to play than these. And they come up enough to where it's kind of like Zealantis, to where you never want to not have these. I mean, this is nice into like random rogue decks. It's good into the mirror. It's good into into Fiendsmith. It's just a way to like play around cards. It's also technically not bad against Ryziel, I guess. If you're going second and you want to stop the Eclipse from taking off. So that's something I can think about too. I didn't really think about lines with Dweller versus Ryziel. And then also Kraken, just having the spot removal, the burn damage, cutting off Fiendsmith, all pretty viable card. So these are like fine. I think they each came up once the whole day, once or twice, and it's not bad, not great, but there's not better cards to play. That's just the issue. I played 1 Chinning as my level 10. This is the first day. Level 10 Synchro did not come up, and I definitely put that on the fact that I put it on the change to the win condition. I put it on mostly though not playing Ran. Not playing Ran definitely cut off the amount of times I see Synchro 10 access, and I definitely missed it. And not being able to make chinning as much as I would normally like to, definitely made me want to reconsider playing Ran. Another issue I do find with chinning in this current list was that because I'm not playing Triana, I have a lot, and I'm not playing Deep Sea Aria. Also, I did not play cards like Deep Sea Aria because it doesn't really synergize with the deck like I had described earlier, as well as it's not great to Droll, and I didn't want to play. I wanted to have the best possible option for Droll as well. But yeah, so chinning. Yeah, I mean, so one, I would say, because the fact I don't have Triana in the deck, or other ways to like consistently banish, this card actually probably should just been Gamir. Gamir is better in the flex spot where you're not as easily accessible to banishing cards. Yes, we have Shrine, but with Shrine being the only way, and it's only on your opponent's turn where you can use that, the Gamir is probably just becomes better than chinning in this type of list. But I would still have to play with that. I will. Yeah, this card will either, it might have to just get cut if there's other cards I think are stronger, or I need to put Ran in the deck to have a legitimate access, because I don't like that. I have a card in my extra deck that is not coming up. Every other card this extra deck was played, was used, was thought about, except chinning. So yeah, and then I got Big Booty Donna as my final extra deck card, and this is our way to facilitate Statue. What her effect is you can target one banished card your opponent controls. You can put it back in their hand, and then on resolution, you will summon a water or add a water from your deck to your hand. It's level 4 or lower, so we summon the statue from our deck, and once you summon statue, neither player can summon anything but waters. So if you put Nib back in their hand, they can't summon it because they're waterlocked. So it's stronger than Nib. And then this also technically does help you get into it's technically a good card going second, because if you get like with a Minstrel and like a 4, then you can. Okay, making her a 7 is actually insane. Her being a 7 is insane because she gets into your Trite lines, because like typically you'll have like this plus Deep Sea King on board, and then you can Trite summon back. As well as she is a tuner, so she lets you synchro into chinning as well. And then the monster you make with her, becomes untargetable by card effects. So if you make chinning with Donna, he's untargetable. And then she's into the graveyard, you can target a banished card. You target one of your banished cards, put it back in the extra deck. So what does that do? That lets you recycle cards that have been banished face down off of Fenrir or Unicorn. It gets your Poseidons back in the mix. So yeah, not bad card. Mainly only came up for the combo. I didn't really ever make this outside of the combo, although I definitely think I probably could have at times. I just didn't fully see the line, and I just need to get more practice reps in with playing this card. But I do like it. It was very nice. And then onto the side deck. Let's see. I played triple Lancia. I played double Fluoros. I played one of the Meowis, whatever it's called. So yeah, these were like my six cards I would side in versus Malice. And so let's see here. So basically, I think what my non-engine would look like for that deck when siding is it'd probably be something along the lines of like triple Prulia, triple Ash, the Nib, probably just play this, and then I probably just have to just play the Imperm as well. When siding, I would only side two Minstrels and my one statue, and then outside of that, I was only siding non-engine. So my deck stayed very consistent, and I was only siding like that when going second. So your numbers for opening water hands go up. Plus you're playing the Charmies, so even though we're only playing 12 non-engine, 12 to 15 non-engine at a time, you can always, if you open the Charmies, they basically count as multiple non-engine because they'll just draw you into more, or they'll stop your opponent from playing, so it's a turn ender. But yeah, I ended up pulling this in one box that I cracked open. I went halvesies on a box, trying to pull Poseidra. I did not pull Poseidra, but I pulled one of these, so that was nice. And yeah, so we also, let's see, the Lancias did technically come up because I played against Crystron. I did not see it for Crystron, but I did have it there anyways. The Fluoros came up. I did not actually ever, I don't think I ever sided this in. I didn't side in versus Crestron's. I found out you are supposed to side this in versus Crestron's. But yeah, so, and then Flu Ross came up a few times as absolutely broken cards. Absolutely broken cards. Next, I played one shifter for the crossout. I played call by, and then I played a triple crossout. Now, I really do not like playing crossout. I really wanted to cut it. I really thought about cutting it, like, cutting this, having 3 Drolls in the main, 3 Nibs in the side. That seemed really cool to me. Cutting the shifter, playing cards like Marksman. Marksman was a card I really wanted to play in this list, and I couldn't. I feel like Marksman's actually maybe just better than Infantry at this point, just based on the cards that we're trying to hit. But yeah, we play call by and cross out for going first, and since we are, that's another reason why I play the Nib. Since we have Nib, we have Droll, we have all the Charmies, Imperm Ash. We have all the viable options for cross out. So you just add shifter in there, and this just plays into our win condition. Because as much as cross out is not a good card, if you open like Prince in a water and cross out, you're almost guaranteed to win that out. So yeah, crossout is just it's not good in every deck, but it's good in combo decks that if they meet their win condition, they win the game, which is what my deck does. And then I played triple droplet as my last, real side deck card. Yeah, obviously this is put in versus Dweller. It's put in versus Rogue matchups. It's very flexible when it does. Deals with Chaos Angel. Deals with, I put it in for Crystron's as well. It's like you never know when you'll need this card, and sometimes you're just negating a whole face-up board, and then normal Prince is enough. So yeah, all these cards were pretty nice. Obviously, like the Shifter and the Lantias never came in, and the Meowst never came in. These came in, Droplets came in, and then I also played one Misazuchi. I played the one Misazuchi because I was thinking, okay, game 1, I will barrier statue my opponent, and then games 3, when I go first again, they'll side in their Dark Rulers or their Droplets, and I wanted to have a negate for that. Well, that didn't actually work in practice like I thought it would. So when you get to the end combo line, you can't actually search the Misazuchi, and you technically could search it on your opponent's turn, but then you lose the interruption you have. And so I just haven't decided how I want to deal with people having cards for my end board yet. I haven't decided what I want to do yet. Part of me thinks you can very easily just pivot because you'll be looking at the hand anyways, so you see what they have in their hand. If they top deck it, they top deck it, I guess. But for the most part, it's you see what's in their hand, and then you build a board based on what you're gonna have to deal with. So hard to say with the Misazuchi. I don't know if this was the in or out. I really want to fit Marksman in. Marksman will almost 100% make its way in here, so I will have to cut one card for that. But yeah, that was, and this never, it came in once, wasn't able to search it. Other than that, I just ignored it, and it just was a waste of a side deck slot. So yeah, that was the deck. It played amazing. Real quick, I guess we can go over what a combo line could look like for this deck, so you guys have an idea of what I was doing. So let's say we have like a Minstrel Dragoons. I mean, any combo line works here. Any multiple cards, Prince in a water, Pike in any like discard outlet, Taste any discard outlet, Poseidon any discard outlet. You can get there almost anyway. But yeah, so let's say this is like the easiest one just to get there. So let's say we open up, we have, I don't know, let's just do, for my sake, we'll just say like triple Imperm press plus Minstrel Dragoons. So you go Minstrel, you will discard Dragoons for cost. You look at the opponent's hand, snipe the Nib out, and then you'll grab Prince off of your Dragoons, normal summon, and then here we can, let's see here. So we could go like, you don't even have to technically go squad. You could actually just to slow it, just to get there even sooner, you could just send Dragoons, add Dragoons, and then Dragoons Engrave can add your, you would add Shrine. My apologies. So you'd send Dragoons, add Shrine, Dragoons Engrave can add Poseidon, and then you can just go Shrine, Tribute Prince, summon Deep Sea, and then Prince will summon back Dragoons. And from here you can go Deep Sea King effect, and you can discard the Poseidon, special your 3 Pikes, And now we'll start getting into some extra deck funsies. So first off, we're gonna go rank 4 here. Shout out to Robbie. He gave me a sick looking QCR Bahamut. I no longer have a rare. I just have a super and a QCR. So awesome. Bahamut effect. Summon totally awesome. And then our Dragoons search will get us what we need. First off is we need a Prince. So we have a discard for our Shrine to get our Poseidra engraved live. And then you can go link 2 into Coral Anemone. And then Coral can summon back Minstrel. I choose to not trigger. I guess here you could actually technically trigger the effect in case you, if you're able to hold the Trite, if you're able to hold the Trite before you Minstrel, then it is okay to Minstrel, because if you Minstrel your statue, you can summon it back with the Trite, so that's fine. But here we're just not going to do that. You just summon, and then you Synchro, and then here we have our Donna, and then Donna effect. We will put the Nib that we sniped, or whatever card we sniped with the Minstrel, back in their hand to summon the statue, and then we will XC into Trite, summon. If you didn't use Minstrel first, you can use it now. You summon Minstrel, and then you link it off with Coral, and you summon King. So this is the bare. This is like the bare minimum of what the combo Ember would typically look like. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at an untargetable field. So Imperm, you'd have to Ultimate Slayer this first. Let's see. I just any random targeting effects you can't use here. There's nothing you can do here. And now we have one Omni Negate for the one problem card that might be able to touch the statue, as well as statue. So our opponent is locked out of special link anything but waters. And then Abyss Trite gives a 300 boost to all waters for every material she has. So this is a 1600 barrier statue. The only normal summon that is meta viable right now that can hit over this is normal summon Ryzeal Ice. Now, if they normal summon Ryzeal Ice, what do they lose there? They lose their battle phase. They lose a normal summon. They lose their effect on summon to special from deck. There's just no way that they go battle phase, and let's say they attack over statue. Assuming that you're able to do that. But sometimes you're not able to get the Prince in hand if you're playing through interruptions, for sure. So if you don't have the Prince in hand, the worst case is they just attack into this, and then now they have to play through an untargetable Omni Negate, and then whatever you might have in your hand, and they've already used a key resource, they've used up their normal summon and battle phase. It's not that bad. It's actually pretty crazy. So yeah, this boost for the statue is insane. And then last but not least, outside the fact that you might have non-engine, you will have Prince in hand. So when your opponent does normal summon Ice, go battle phase to attack over your statue, you just activate wherever she is. You activate Shrine. Activate Shrine, banish it, discard the Prince from your hand to the graveyard, and then you special Poseidra, and then Poseidra can send. I can send anything, but I mean, I'm probably always sending either Dragoons, or maybe in this instance, I would probably just send Squad, and then Squad would summon Prince from my deck, and I would just have that ready on the crackback. But yeah, so even if they do have a normal summonable card, if they're not able to hand trap you enough to stop you from getting all your resources, you're still dealing with it. Then you have the Toad's protection anyways. There's also been times where you can very easily make double Toad here. There's also times where my end board will be like this, and that'll be this exact same end board, and I'll have a Toad on the outside as well. I like to keep the Trite, the buff, because I think the buff's pretty important for keeping the barrier alive. Although, just putting this here and this here, it really doesn't change too much. I mean, they have to target this, and you can negate it, and so it doesn't really matter how you go about it. Maybe this is actually better than this, in case they do just somehow they're able to walk over this, and then they have to play having these two untargetable is probably better. But yeah, that was the idea for the list. Also, really cool interaction pieces that did come up was when going second, you play into a board. Your win condition is very much live, because when you make when you make Poseidra, we now have a card that we actually want to send off this. If we're not sending like Dragoons, squad trying to trigger cards, you can going second. Your game 1, you're breaking a board. You can use his effect to dump. You can dump the statue, which is insane. Wherever that card is, you can dump the statue off the Poseidra effect to get it live. And so if you've been able to save your enemy, you probably not able to save Trite. I do notice that an enemy doesn't come up as often going second. At least this locals, and I think that's actually maybe because of Trite. I think Trite really adds a lot to the deck, and Trite allows you to save your coral for later in the turn, and so you're able to save your coral to summon back the statue. And so if you use Trite to summon a body, if you use Trite to summon a body, and then you have Poseidra, then you make Poseidra over Trite, Poseidra, send barrier, flood the field, link these 2 off for coral, and then you get 3 bodies from Poseidra, plus you get the coral summon back statue. You're able to make an untargetable statue again, plus, and then I think that's where I need to kind of figure out what I want to do. I think my follow-up Poseidra play is a little weak right now. Like the monsters it summons, I don't think it does a whole lot. You can summon Minstrel, a 3, and Prince, and then make Deep Sea Donna, which is definitely not bad. So you could like go Deep Sea. So like in this case scenario, you have like Coral, you have Statue, you have Minstrel squad. Minstrel squad, and wherever a prince is. So like you'd have like something like this as your board, and then you could like sync these off. You can make Donna, and then Donna could summon a squad from your deck. You discard a card, make squad and Donna 7s, and then make like a Gaios, and then you have like Gaios statue plus coral. That's not bad. But this is after breaking a board as well, so your opponent's on minimal resources, and also if you can just get like a prince in hand as well. So maybe Levy comes back into the deck. I didn't actually miss Levy, but I do like Levy as a viable option, and maybe it replaces Chenning here. But yeah, so that's it. I'm done. Fun, very fun. This is an amazing deck. Did really well. 40 card water. My deck's more consistent than yours. Let's get it. There's definitely some more innovations I can make to this list. I honestly don't know if I want to keep playing it, because there were times where you do feel a little bad when your opponent just cannot play the game. It's a little degenerate for sure. But yeah, overall it definitely did what it's supposed to do. And that's the list. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I can't wait to start uploading some feature matches and go over all that sauce. So yep, that's it. Peace.